Look what I got here. Hey, where are the white women at?
Hi, what's up, guys? Oh man, we got one for the day. Let's roll through. Let's see who all's here. Jesus Christ, I can't talk some days. Sam of Anarchy, what's up, my brother? Mike McClune, my brother from another mother. Princess Kicking Butt, aka Ting Ting. The backpack badass. Call her that. Sunflower, what's up, sis? MC, my brother, what's happening?
Homie, you done stole my chip.
My brother Krabby Turtle is in the house.
Shows weather.
Mike White, what is happening, my brother?
Bye-bye.
Sister Vanessa Kitty's in the house. Brother 2 Live Moo.
Go say hi to the people on YouTube.
Come here, Wub. Wub, come here. You got to say hi, Perps. Come here. You got to say it up here. Say hi, Perps. All right. Oh, so wasn't going to do live tonight. But I'm sitting in line to pick my daughter up, and I get an announcement on my phone. Another school shooting today.
Bubba, don't hit that.
Nashville, Tennessee, Christian school. 3 kids dead, 3 adults dead. I don't know how many wounded yet. I'm still trying to pick through everything. But I think about it. I get this alert on my phone. Now, this happened earlier in the day. I didn't hear about it till later, but I'm sitting there. I'm watching elementary school kids get on their bus, waiting in line for my daughter. School shooting, elementary school. Tactical Fudd, what's up, brother?
Bubby over here stealing my chicken good.
And it really makes me about want to lose my ever loving shit. How did this person, now there are reports that this was a woman, there are reports that this person was trans. I don't know yet. We don't know really 100% what weapons they used, anything else. But I figured I'd go, hey, fuck, let's look and see what the good old Congress is saying about this shit. So we're going to look at some of that. And we're going to look at what old President Biden's got to say about it. And somewhere in between some of these clips, I will probably lose my ever-loving mind. And then maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it. Dang old Matt, what is happening, brother? Chamber Defense, my brother. Hey, Chamber, that link you sent me for watching movies is great, dude. You almost caused me to not get at least 2 hours of sleep this morning because I started watching John Wick and I had to shut my phone off and put one of my books on so I could go to sleep. I got a ways into the movie and it was like, man, I got to get a little bit of sleep. So anyway, let's look at something. We're going to do a screen share and we're going to go, where are we at? Let's go to old President Brandon first. And this should be where he talks about the shooting. I think I got it leveled off.
Low ES.
Of course, we're going to get an ad.
I haven't been able to make the bed in years.
At Planet Fitness, there's.
I just want to speak very briefly about the school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. You know, Ben and I have been doing this our whole careers, it seems. And it's just, it's sick. You know, we're still gathering the facts of what happened and why. And we do know that as of now, there are a number of people who did not make it, including children. It's heartbreaking. a family's worst nightmare. And I want to commend the police who responded incredibly swiftly within minutes to end the danger. We're monitoring the situation really closely, Ben, as you know, and we have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prisons. The shooter in this situation reportedly had 2 assault weapons and a pistol, 2 AK-47. So I call on Congress again to pass my assault weapons ban. It's about time that we begin to make some more progress, but there's more to learn. But I just wanted to send my concern and hearts out to so many parents out there. I've been to so many of these sites, as Ben knows, by virtually everyone. And one of the things you folks should, I know you do know, but you should focus on, just like when in the military, my son was in Iraq for a year.
My son just tripped over his
So
lawnmower.
many members of the military coming back with post-traumatic stress after witnessing the violence and participating in it. Well, these children, these teachers, you should be focusing on their mental health as well. And so I'm grateful anyway. Sorry to start off that way, but I couldn't begin without acknowledging what happened. And now
Okay. So that was President Biden. Not long after the shooting, almost nothing was known about it yet. He's already pushing an assault weapons ban. So let's go to, I haven't looked at the House yet, but let's go to the Senate. Let me see. So this is before they knew anything about really what happened with this shooting. So let's listen to the Senate. My first man off the rip is going to be Mr. Dick Durbin.
Yet another American community is in shock and grief after yet another American mass shooting. This morning, a shooter entered the Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee, reportedly armed with 2 assault rifles and a handgun. This is an elementary school for students in preschool through the 6th grade. The children are as young as 3 and 4 years old. Upon entering the school, the shooter opened fire, killing at least 3 staff members and 3 students. I cannot begin to imagine what the families and school community are feeling at this moment. We send our prayer and condolences, and we are certainly grateful for the first responders who were dispatched to the school within minutes and ran toward the sound of gunfire. But once again, thoughts and prayers are not enough. These mass shootings, especially
Mr.
targeting
Brooke Cheney,
children,
what's happening? How are you doing?
are
tonight,
happening
sister?
with sickening regularity in this nation. This could be the 129th mass shooting since this year 2023 began. 129 mass shootings in America. And we are fewer than 90 days into this.
Let me stop this right here. Because they play these damn games with this stuff. And it annoys the ever living hell out of me. Last year, in so-called mass shootings, I think we lost about 70-something lives. The majority of mass shootings are gang violence, things like drive-bys, club shootings, all things driven by a narco economy, all things driven by a very violent culture with no respect for life whatsoever. And they add these 2 things in. instead of just, gang violence, they add in the spree killer, and they're trying to pump the numbers up. So when someone who doesn't look at this stuff hears this, they think, oh my God, there were 100 and something school shootings this year. No, there weren't. In fact, school shootings are decently rare, especially when you consider a country of over 350 million people with well over probably 400 million guns. But they throw all this stuff together, just like they add in suicides to firearms, violent deaths, and all that to pump numbers up. These guys couldn't wait to get to a microphone to stand on the bodies of these children. And we've known for a very long time how we can stop a lot of this, which is controlling entry and exit. During COVID, to enter some buildings on my campus, you had to stand in front of a screen, have that thing take your temperature before you could open a door. So these people are telling me that there's no way that we can control entry and exit on these buildings and stop one of these shooters from actually coming in the door in the first place. You see, there's a couple things going on here. There is a right and a duty to own arms, to be a check on the federal and state powers. And you can actually do things to stop these mass shootings without trampling on the rights of people who are not committing these mass shootings. And if you hear something in the background, that's my son running around with his mower. He's mowing the carpets right now. What's up, Brother Wood? How's it going? So let's listen to some more of this, because like I said, if you guys didn't hear, G23, what's up, brother, man? If you guys didn't hear how I started this out, I didn't hear about this shooting until I was in line to pick my daughter up at her elementary school, watching young children run around and get on buses and jump in cars. And then I'm pulling up video and stuff on this shooting. Now, there's a funny twist in this shooting. Apparently, the shooter was a student at this Christian school, and there's word coming out in a couple of news stories that this person was transgender. Uvalde was a person with some gender issues that shot up a school. So let's get back into this a little bit, because we're gonna watch a couple of things.
Calendar year. That's more than one mass shooting per day. What is a mass shooting? 4 victims, either shot or killed in an incident. Last year, Congress took some important steps on gun safety reform with Bipartisan Safer Communities Act and the Violence Against Women Act reauthorization. The Judiciary Committee that I serve did a lot of work on these measures, and I was happy to support both of them. But as today's shooting in Nashville, Tennessee demonstrates, there is more work to be done. The fact that this is a daily occurrence in America is unconscionable. We're going to learn more details in the hours and days ahead about what actually happened in Nashville. But we already know what must be done to keep our children and communities safe from deadly shootings. I strongly support bills to ban assault weapons from civilian use and close gaps in our background check system. I cannot imagine the founding fathers would even envision what we are allowing today in the name of words that they wrote in the Second Amendment to the Bill of Rights. To think that these weapons, the one that was used in Highland Park in my home state of Illinois on the 4th of July last year, the man discharged 83 rounds in 60 seconds. Tell me that the Founding Fathers had that in mind when they wrote the Second Amendment. I don't believe it. And today, the early reports are that assault weapons may have been involved again. We'll wait until we see the actual facts coming in, but it would be no great surprise if that's the case. It would be a great disappointment.
But you couldn't wait to run out and jump on these bodies.
I urge my colleagues to come together on a bipartisan basis. We can't say that we've solved this problem or even addressed it seriously when incidents like the one that happened today in
You guys
Nashville,
just
Tennessee
wait for the
continue to
pushes
occur.
that are going to come.
We need to pass more reform to keep guns out of dangerous hands and to keep our children safe.
And wait for some of these Republicans to jump on board with Democrats.
Bubba, you don't ain't on my nacho cheese.
I'm going to go to another one here in a minute.
Ain't on my cheese, baby.
But in the last couple of streams, I have already shown that people during the founding era owned cannons, mortars, explosive shells, grenades. They owned everything that the government could own. Everything. Matter of fact, the Mass Act, if the government decided you weren't storing everything right, you went in front of a jury. Understand, you went in front of a jury. And if the jury said you weren't storing your stuff properly, then the government took it after a jury. And then what did the government do? They turned around and sold your mortars, your cannons, your grenades, your explosive rounds back to the public. The government didn't say that these things are too dangerous for citizens to own. We've known forever, since Columbine, and even before then, we've known that if you control entry and exits to schools, you can stop a lot of these things. You don't let someone just walk into your building to shoot your children and your teachers. Question: has anyone seen a mass shooting occur in school in Ohio? Not happened for some time. Teachers carry. Look there. I have to look it up. There are some schools, I think, in New York, some charter schools, where the principals and a lot of the admin people are carried.
They're shooting at us. They're shooting at us. Shoot back.
Yeah. The idea, and this is another thing that pisses me off. The idea of a teacher carry. Now, understand, and I hate to get into it sometimes, but I teach at a public college. I teach welding. The idea of a teacher carrying isn't that they're going to go out and try to play Rambo and find the shooter. For me, if it was in my building, there is an area where I can pull all of my guys back to where I can control two hallways. One to the left, one to the right, and anything that breaks windows and starts to come down those hallways would get tattooed if I could carry while I'm at work. But instead, we had a lockdown, a year and a half ago? There were some inmates who got out, or somehow, I still ain't figured it out. got the deputy to pull over. It's like 3 inmates in the back of a car, van, whatever. They get him to pull over. Somehow they get loose. They run. They lock us down. Big. I mean, we're not a huge campus, but it's a big campus. But it's also an open campus. Yeah, you see Daddy on that one? Hey, look, Goober. You can see yourself on that one. But it's an open campus. So what you end up with is students who didn't get the alerts for this stuff showing up to campus in the middle of this lockdown. I see administrators riding around on golf carts. They're not armed. They're pretty much just targets. All right, come on. Riding around in the middle of this lockdown. I'm in a building with a couple of different entry points with glass windows on each one. And for those of you who don't realize it, I think it was Sandy Hook where, yes, the doors were locked, but there were glass all around the doors. And he just shot the glass out and walked into the school.
Reminds me of the movie Red, doesn't it?
Yeah. But especially with, say, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, you can control entry and exit points. And you hear Biden and Durbin talk about, oh, they'll look like prisons. Me and a couple of you could get together and design a campus that would look like a freaking just beautiful oasis, and we could still control all entry and exit points to that campus. So that a 28-year-old woman, I still ain't figured it out yet, couldn't walk in strapped with 2 ARs and a pistol and start killing your students and your faculty.
How many casualties?
3 students, 3 teachers. My wife was asking how many casualties, and we'll look at that in a minute. What's up, Warsaw? C&T Jr. Yep, that's my buddy. But like I said, I get this or hear about this shooting while I'm watching kids load up on buses and.
Dad, are we gonna go to Grand Anna's today?
No, babe, we ain't going to Great Anna's today. So let me get back to the Senate. And for those of you who don't know, it's a handy dandy feature. When you pull up the Senate, you can watch live, or you can actually search the if it's been going for a while, you can search and speed things up.
I have a blue and white bat.
Let's see whether this will work right this time. If not, I might have to reset it because C-SPAN's a douche. Canoe. Come on.
Leader,
I ask unanimous
Do it.
consent
Okay,
that
yeah.
be dispensed with.
without objection.
So, of course, now we got Chucky the sleazeball Schumer talking about this stuff.
Madam President, we're just learning of the horrific, truly heartbreaking shooting at a school in Nashville earlier today. 6 people, 3 children. Still have the pictures of the kids at Sandy Hook, the little children there who were shot dead in mind. Well, 6 people, including 3 children, were shot and killed in their own school. 6 people, 3 children who won't be coming home today to their families, to their friends, to their lives. We're holding in our hearts the families of the loved ones of those affected by this horrible tragedy, and thank the first responders who were on the scene. Now on Israel. I welcome the news that the judicial legislation proposed.
Oh, well, Chucky didn't hit it that hard, did he? Nothing about, let's see, who else was talking about it?
Madam
Let's switch
President,
back
I
to
yield
Nikki
the floor.
Durbin there.
Suggest the absence of a quorum.
Now, Madam President, we're just learning.
the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.
President, we're just learning of the horrific,
All right, so
truly
apparently only
heartbreaking
Dickie
shooting
Durbin and
at a school in Nashville earlier
Chuck
today.
the
6 people, 3
Schumer
children.
were talking about it.
Still have the pictures of the kids
Let's
at
do this.
Sandersville
Let's
School
go.
of
Let's look at
Children
the
there who
house and see
were shot dead.
whether anybody in the house had anything to say about it. Let's see. We're going to go to this. Let's go to morning hour first, and we'll see. No, apparently nothing in morning hour. Let's go to House Session Part 1. I will be absolutely beside myself if none of these bastards mention this shooting. Now sometimes this search will lie to your ass. So sometimes they could have mentioned it and it just doesn't pull it up. Sometimes it does okay. Na, 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 na.
Dad,
Yes, baby.
would you like it if I had devil wings or angel wings?
I would prefer you to have angel wings, baby.
I would prefer devil.
I don't know why this is taking so long. You're gonna have to find some darts for it, buddy.
But would you like it if I had like pitch black eyes and horns and a tail with it?
That tends to be like when you wake up in the morning.
What? Bah!
All right, let's see.
U.S. economy during a women's business summit hosted at the White House. Prior to his remarks, the president also spoke about the recent school shooting in Nashville. The shooting by a gunman described as a young woman killed
So they're
multiple
just quoting the
students and
president there,
adults.
it looks like.
This is just under half an hour.
Yeah, they're just quoting him there.
Time and the kids, I just want to speak very briefly about the school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee.
All right, let's go to 3 and see if they
I
said
don't know
anything.
why, but I like this.
I am
hat.
flat out amazed that nothing's showing up in the house. I'm surprised Sheila Jackson Lee wasn't breaking her damn neck to get to a microphone.
Their classroom without the fear of being gunned down due to senseless gun violence. It
Oh,
is
this
likely that
douchebag.
at this moment, the next mass shooter is planning their shooting. What will this chamber do about it? I filed my last bill last week to simply create a federal office of gun violence prevention. 3 kids are dead today, and every day we wait, 100 more people die. I pray to God that there are some Republicans in this chamber that can help support my legislation to save lives. I yield back my time.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Texas seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute and to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to remember a giant in agriculture in the 15th Congressional District of Texas.
Well,
Benno Lenzman of
that's about all they
Seguin,
had to
Texas,
say about it,
passed
I guess. Of course, U.S. Senate's still going. Tell you what, let's check the Senate again real quick. Let's see whether anybody else is running their smoker right now. Let's see. Shacknall yet, yada, yada. Nah, looks like it's still there running their mouths about everything else. Let's see. Crap, I can't freaking see my keyboard. I'll just search for assault.
Whose purse is this?
All right. Quit messing with stuff. Put it back where you got it.
This man was in the
This has got to be the president when he was running his mouth. He's done. They are. Or is it going to pull it up right? Doesn't look like it's going to pull it up right.
Shooter in this situation.
Shooter entered the Covenant School in Nashville, Kentucky. Nashville, Tennessee.
Which it almost fit,
Reportedly
because
armed
usually
with
Dick
assault
Durbin and
rifles
Chuck
and a
Schumer are
handgun.
the ones setting the pace
This is an elementary school
in the Senate.
for students in preschool through the 6th grade.
So let me see.
The children are as young as 3.
Let's share this one and we'll listen to it a little bit. Shut up, Dick. Good God, this guy looks.
Yeah, that old.
Enhance.
Same.
See if we can find something else on it real quick.
At this time, I will turn it over to
Paltrow and was involved in a collision.
But did not disclose more details other than saying that they did find some maps of the school at the residence. And for a while, we had a live.
Yeah, so apparently they figured out where this person lived, all that. Apparently there was a manifesto, maps of the school. But you look at this school.
Hey.
It would be really easy to control entry points on a building like this. Really easy. And it wouldn't look like a prison or anything like the Democrats talk about, because that's their whole argument. Every time you talk about hardening schools, they talk about, well, we don't want it looking like a prison. Okay, there's a way that you can prevent some of these shootings. You won't prevent all, but you can prevent some of these shootings. And you don't have to strip the rights of individuals who are not doing these shootings. And I'm trying to choose words very carefully right there, because like a pistol brace rule, technically, if you don't follow that rule, you're not law abiding. So we'll say people who are no threat to others. I don't see how this person walks into a building like that and is able to walk into the building like that free and clear, toting guns. Fuck me. I don't get it.
Feed of police who are on scene of the house of the shooter in this as well. So we're continuing to monitor those. Do want to bring you some reaction from people in the area who were there when they saw the influx of emergency responders going to the school while all of this was unfolding.
in DON.
And you live right here?
Yeah, I live here at Georgetown, 5.5 years.
So can you just kind of describe to us what you heard, saw?
Yes.
Hey, what's up,
and
brother?
I just noticed, I'm used to hearing sirens because there's a fire department around the corner, but it's just too many going by. And then I walked out into our little green space and
yeah, I'm wondering.
Walked out here to go see what's going on, and literally like 20 to 60
Where am I at on this?
cop cars just going by. And
Let me pause that for a second. So I'm wondering, like the last few shooters were all known to police in one way or another. So I'm wondering whether this person, come on, Cooper, come on. Look. So I'm wondering just how well known this shooter was to police already. You take Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, that kid, I won't say his name. That kid had plenty of interactions with officers where they could have involuntarily committed him. And a couple others were like that, where they were known to police. They had plenty of interactions with police, where there were plenty of legal avenues to deal with this person before they committed the shooting. So I'm wondering whether we're going to find out that this was another case like that. Z, what's up, my brother? So it maddens me. We could do many, many things to stop shootings like this with legislation. And matter of fact, some of it has been proposed that would not strip a single person of a single constitutional right or power or anything like that. And we could stop a lot of these shootings. But the problem is when bills are brought up that would, give money to states to do things like this, you always have people block these bills because the bills don't do anything with firearms. Well, the thing is, like this one, walking into a school and shooting distances that this person's shooting, that's all pistol distance. That's why the deadliest mass shooting for a long time, I think, was Virginia Tech. And it was 2 pistols. Because in those areas, at those distances, that's very effective pistol ranges. Matter of fact, Uvalde, that dude could have walked in there with a fucking slingshot with as much time as he had. In a classroom with outside windows, and no one would walk around to the window to cap the dude. This is maddening to me. That's like these dickheads who hey, Tuck, what's happening, brother? That's like these dickheads in Alabama. Right now, when I go pick my daughter up, like I did this afternoon, and I'm wearing my gun, I am protected against being charged with anything because I am a legal carrier. I'm doing business at the school. I have cause to be there, and I'm not a threat to anybody. Now they're trying to push through changes in the law to where if I go pick my daughter up and I'm wearing my firearm and someone knows or thinks that I have a firearm, they call the school resource officer over there. He searches me. He realizes I have a gun. Well, that's a Class C felony for someone who is not a threat to anyone. You're the only way you deal with these evil ass people who want to commit these acts is to stop them from entering the fucking building. You can control that. You don't have to deal with any constitutional issues when you're controlling, entry into the building. What'd you put up, Z? Let's see what's that. What the hell? Why'd that start over? This was put out last. Okay. Let's watch what Z just sent. See, you ain't giving me no copyright strikes, are you? Samson, that was 7 months ago. All right, we'll skim that a little bit. Let's look at some more of this.
And then I saw one helicopter hovering above that church up the hill, Presbyterian, and I just like, this can't be good. It's going to be where it's worse. It's not like an accident or fire. And then came out here, started.
General Sorrow, what's up,
what's
brother?
going on, and just seeing the parents over there and coming up and breaking.
Hey, CG, what's happening, man?
You just don't think this happens in your area, and I just feel so badly for those people that were injured, and I just really hope that I'm thankful that the situation's under control, but just a really heartbreaking situation, and I hate that this happened in our town.
Do you know how much the news actually tailors who they actually show on the news?
Running up the hill, and some cop on a motorcycle stopped them, and then the woman, I'm assuming the mother, just doubled over and just hysterics and crying, and they started running off down the hill.
Let me make myself small and make this
Hillsborough
big.
Pike. So I don't know what happened there, and then people just walking up the hill, and it's a tough hill to climb, just running out of breath, and then just crying.
See,
and
look
having
at
to
that
just slow
place.
down 'cause they can't keep
How
up,
does
so
a
they just keep going.
person,
It's just really heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's something you never thought.
he, whatever, was carrying a long gun, an AR, and like an AR pistol, and then another pistol? Obviously, that's gonna show.
The families and
How do they just walk into that building?
We're praying for you. You know, your city
Evie
loves you.
Luminous,
We'll
what's up,
rally and
brother?
give you the support that you need. And I'm so sorry. I'll never know what you're going through, but I just pray that their needs are met and that people are there to help them out in this whole.
Yeah, Shondell Brooks.
Man, they cut off the dude that was talking about praying pretty quick, didn't they?
SHAUNDELLE. Brooks, BROOKS.
And you said you have kids who were.
Yeah, my son was killed in a mass shooting at the Waltham House. So every time there's a mass shooting, it triggers something, right? Then you go up to Capitol, you go to
Yeah,
Capitol,
dude, they already gave out the names of the minor children that
these
were
weak
killed,
gun laws that the governor
which is
continues to
amazing
pass.
to me.
It's ridiculous. You get a call today. I got a call earlier today that my son's schools are locked down. So of course, it triggers something in you.
What school does your son go to?
Hillsborough High School.
When you got that call.
Yeah, dude, I'm surprised they aren't covering more of the storms as global warming and we're all going to die kind of deal.
Yeah, it's like all over again. All over again. I'm shaking. I don't even know how I made it.
Nah, dude, shooter was killed.
Because you don't know what's going on.
From what I heard.
What do you think needs to happen?
These cops actually got up there and engaged the shooter and killed them within just a little bit of them being there instead of drawing back and letting children get killed the whole time they're standing in the fucking hallway. Gotta give them props for that.
He is nervous. I mean, he can't get in or out of the school, so.
Are you keeping up with him by texting him?
Yeah, this was a Christian school.
And he's like, Mom, please don't come over here. There's an active shooter. You don't know, whatever. But how could I not worry?
So just to pause this for a sec. This was a Christian school. This person that did this, and I've got to find a couple more reports on it to kind of nail it down, but they're saying it was a woman, possibly a transgender, who did this at a Christian school. Apparently they went there as a young child. Boy, the wheels spin when you see something like that. Like maybe they had some inappropriate activity in their life back then and were confused about gender and decided to take that out on the school. I don't know that. That is completely speculation. but I damn near bet money I'm right. Remember what I've said about a lot of these shootings. Children are taught it's all about me, it's all about my feelings. They get harmed in a way, and they get to the point where they can justify harming other people, basically inflicting their pain on other people. I would be really interested to see this so-called manifesto that they found from this person. But again, how did this person just walk into this school? That's a hard building. That would be, and by hard, I mean hard exterior. It should be very easy to control entry and exit. Again, I'll use the example of COVID, where if I walked in a building, I had to sit there with my face in front of this little screen so it could take my temperature before the door would open. You don't think you could do that for students and staff? Or like when I go to, if I have to pick my daughter up or something, I have to stand at the front door, push a buzzer that goes to the office, and then we go through a speaker. They have a camera over me, and then I explain what's going on, and then someone opens the door. Seems simple enough. Again, the point is, you could pass federal legislation to fund schools hardening. If they are a two-story school, hardening their first floor. If they're a single-story school, hardening their exterior. We could fund that. How about we don't spend the money on Ukraine and we spend it on our fucking schools? How about we actually do have teachers that are carrying? And don't tell me all teachers, I don't want to carry. Okay, I had plenty of teachers back in the day that, oh my fucking God, I don't think I'd want them near a gun. There were other teachers that I think probably could have handled a weapon very well. Again, it's not about being Rambo and chasing down the school shooter. It's about pulling your people back to an area that you can control. And anything that comes through that funnel of control, you're able to engage. Well, you look at the live pictures of the exterior, no windows are blown out. And again, that's how dude got into Sandy Hook. He shot the windows out and walked in. You know, unless there's another area of the building where maybe he, her, she, him, whatever the fuck their pronouns are, shot the window out and got in.
It's very sad because I know what those parents are feeling. When you get that call that your child didn't make it, or they were one of the victims of a mass shooting, it's the worst feeling ever. It's the most devastating losing your child.
Yeah, you grew up with some pipe hitters
No
teachers.
parent should have to go through this.
Well, thank you so much. I
Also, want to bring you what President Biden had to say
raising
after
freaking
this
mentally
tragic
ill
shooting
children?
Earlier today. Let's listen into some of those remarks.
Because they're not
Briefly
born
about the school
that
shooting
way.
in Nashville, Tennessee. You know, Ben and I have been doing this our whole careers, it seems. And
Yeah, CG, that's what I was hearing.
it's just, it's sick. You know, we're still gathering the facts of what happened and why. And we do know that as of now, there are a number of people who did not make it, including children.
Yeah, they identified
It's heartbreaking.
all three children,
family's
all
worst
three adults
nightmare.
already.
And I want to commend the police.
And all they
who
can say about the
responded
shooter is
incredibly
a woman.
swiftly, within minutes,
They
and the
haven't,
danger. We're monitoring the
you know,
situation really closely,
hashed
Ben,
out
as you
the
know.
rest of that yet for some
And
of these
we
news
have
stories.
to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul.
Oh
of the
yeah,
nation.
Warsaw, absolutely.
And we have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prisons. You know, the shooter.
See, that's that
situation
common again.
reportedly had 2 assault weapons and a pistol.
That's that common again. We have to do more so our schools don't look like prisons. I could control entry and exit to a school and make it look like a fucking resort. How many people live in gated communities that are nice? You don't think we can make a school that way? You know, for years, I went to school on bases where, you know, to get on the base, you had to be screened. What are you doing? Why are you showing your belly?
What are you doing, Bubby?
Why are you showing your belly? What are you doing? But
okay, not there,
man,
not there, not there.
This stuff
Hey, no.
especially happened.
No.
You know, my son, of course, he's 3. He's not in school
Let
yet.
go. Let go.
He doesn't go to pre-K or anything like that. He's with the in-laws or he's with my parents. But my daughter's in elementary school. When I hear about shootings like that, it affects me deeply. And these dipshits could fund renovations on schools to control entry and exits, make them very nice, so the child knows when they hit that gate going into their school, they're safe. Not to mention the fact it would keep these little shitheads from leaving school sometimes, getting lost. Safety Doc mentioned one on a school that, you know, it's a child had some disabilities, walked off of school grounds and got lost. You know, there's all sorts of things we can do without trying to strip people of their rights, but all they're worried about is the gun. And it's not about the children. It's about fucking control. That's why these little bastards can't wait to go stand on a stack of bodies to push their agenda. Hold on, Warsaw. Let me pull it up.
Violence. That is what liberals want you to believe. But now one sheriff in Washington has come forward with a powerful message against the anti-gun propaganda. Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Nesevich on Thursday held a conference, in which he said that taking away the gun ownership will not. The sheriff's message came after the school shooting in Spokane, where a 15-year-old killed one student and wounded 3 others. I can't tell you, folks, I carried a gun all my life. I hunted, I shot. My friends and I, it's hunting season back home. When I was in high school, every one of those rigs in the high school parking lot had a gun in the gun rack, Nesevich said. Why? We went hunting on the way home. None of those guns ever walked into a school. None of those guns ever shot anybody, he added. What's the difference? Did the gun change? Or did you, as a society, change? I'll give you odds that it was you, as a society, because you started glorifying cultures of violence. You glorified the gang culture, you glorified games that actually give you points for raping and killing people. The gun didn't change, we changed. Nesevich also blamed some out-of-touch politicians. Lawmakers on both the right and the left, you're both enamored by radicalized hate, he stated, saying some similar words that President Trump said after the violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. You seem to hate everybody and everything. It's time for you to end that too. After all, the ultimate blame lies within the one pulling the trigger, not the gun itself.
All right, guys, I'm back. So let's look. Let's see if we can find some more live coverage real quick. Or here, we'll watch this. Let's see.
This is an ABC News special report.
I want to see if they mention anything about
we are
it.
coming on the air because we are about to hear from officials in Nashville about a school shooting that left at least 3 children dead. Police say the shooter is also dead. Let's listen.
From this spot later in the morning with Chief John Drake and others. At 10:13 this morning, the police department received a call of an active shooter inside Covenant School, Covenant Presbyterian Church. The police department response was swift. Officers entered the first story of the school, began clearing it. They heard shots coming from the second level. They immediately went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers.
Now, did they see a female or did they see a man trying to be a female, a woman? They're stressing that female a little too much.
There was a 5-member team who was on the second floor at that time. 2 individuals from that 5-member team opened fire on the shooter. We know at this point that this shooter is a female. She appears to be in her teens, although her identification has not been confirmed at this juncture.
Oh, was it a female to male?
She was armed with at least 2 assault-type rifles and a handgun. We are efforting now to identify her.
Oh, well,
she entered the school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots. We now know that there are 3 students who were fatally wounded, as well as 3 adults inside the school. We are working to identify.
Hold on, because I got something else pulled up. Matter of fact, let me search this again, see if anything else has come up in the last couple minutes. Let's share this tab for a sec. God, fucking all the ads, man. Come on. So 3 children, 3 adults, mass shooting. Get the fuck out of the way. Covenant School. Shooter was fatally shot. 28-year-old. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking Christ with the ads, man. Officials said the shooter was armed with at least 2 assault rifles and a handgun. Preliminary investigation. It's a one-time student. This story hasn't changed too much. Police response. Let's see. Let me, anytime, let's past hour. Live updates. Nashville.
at an American school.
This time, a Christian elementary school in Nashville. Police say a female shooter killed 3 children and 3 adults. She was then killed by police. With us right now, NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson. Justice and
They're I can't tell whether they're dragging out the she, because it's something like, I read something earlier, it's something like 8% of so-called mass shootings. Now, again, their metrics for mass shootings are kind of screwed up, because I will bet money with the state of things right now, there are a lot of women involved pulling drive-bys and gang shootings and shit like that are counted as mass shootings, but they just haven't caught the shooter yet. I've seen, well, let's just say that might be some personal insight there.
Intelligence Corps.
We'll say this: 8% of high visibility mass shootings were committed by women.
Correspondent Ken Delanian and White House correspondent Monica Alba. Steve, let's start with you. Some new details emerging about what happened, including a revelation just moments ago from the police chief saying he thought the shooter was a student at the school at one point. What all do we know right now?
Yeah, this would be the second news briefing that we've had with more promise. Just want to recap where we are. 3 students killed, 3 adults killed in that school, the Covenant School, a private Christian school, at about 10:13. And this is new from police. 10:13 is when they heard the shots fired. They responded immediately, according to the chief. The suspected shooter, that 28-year-old female Nashville resident, killed by.
So let's. I'm so sick of this shit. So 3 9-year-old students. All of the adults that were killed were like 60, 61. But still, fuck me, man. I'm tired. Been working on fucking shit on the house all day. Back's killing me. How did the shooter walk into that fucking building unchallenged and start killing fucking 9-year-olds? I mean, I was a douche at 9 years old. I don't think I needed to be shot in the fucking face. Oh, I gotta watch my language. My son just walked in. What do you got? That is not yours. Where did you get that? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, this sits back up on the counter. Again, not yours. But yeah, how does this person walk into a school, 2 ARs, pistol? I don't get it. Let's see what he's got to say.
Nashville Police Chief John Drake. Chief Drake, I appreciate you being here. Based on your last briefing, it sounds like things are moving very quickly. You describe this as a targeted attack. Can you elaborate?
Sunflower. Fuck me running.
Absolutely. So the person.
Sunflower, let me explain something to you. Very simple. Yes, there are a lot. Sorry, hold on. Give me a sec. My son's trying to brush his teeth. Give me that. Give me. Okay, if you want to brush your teeth, brush your teeth. Okay. Yeah, my bathroom is right outside of my office. Let me explain something very simple. Every mass shooter is mentally unwell. Yes, there are more mentally ill people that will not do things like that. But every single mass shooter is not healthy mentally, because people that are at least halfway healthy mentally don't go out and fucking shoot people just because. And again, I will bet you money most shootings like this are done by people who have mental issues and they want to take their pain out on other people. It's not to say all fucking mentally ill people or people with mental issues are going to do something like this. There are plenty of people, I've been there, where you're depressed and you're feeling down and you've got some issues going on, but you don't go out and shoot people. Going out and shooting people just because is not a sign of a mentally healthy individual. So this, oh, well, it's not mentally, fuck that. Yes, you don't lump all mentally ill people in the same fucking box, but you don't lump all firearms deaths into the same box either. This thing that pisses me off with people on the left. You want to throw everything to the same box to pump up the numbers. When you actually break things down, you can look at causation and then you can see how to fix issues. And I've got news for you. Banning guns ain't fixing shit. Because the minute they ban all ARs, all AKs, all that, the next shooting is going to happen with pistols. And when they ban them, the next shooting is going to happen with a fucking pump action shotgun. And when they ban them, then you're going to have someone who's smart enough to stand off at a distance and shoot people with a bolt action rifle. And then all of a sudden your hunting rifle is going to be a high powered fucking sniper rifle. Fucks on the left are the most dishonest people on the goddamn planet. And don't tell me this is some binary choice where you can have guns or you can have, live kids. It's not a fucking binary choice. You can do this shit without stripping people of their rights protected by their state constitutions. The states can't strip people of their rights. The federal constitution says that the federal government has no say-so whatsoever on the arms owned in the states. So if you want to live in a republic, baby, here it is. Now, if you want democracy and you want mob rule, 2 generations, I'll bet 2 generations would be all it would take for people who dissent from the government to be loaded on the fucking train cars or shot in the back of the head. Yeah, well, they talk about ARs. Oh, these weapons of war and all this shit. And they use these mass shootings. as examples, weapons of war, there's still more people killed with hands and feet every year than are killed by so-called assault weapons. That's all long guns added into that category. That's rifles, that's shotguns, that's AR pistols, AK pistols. More people are killed with hands and feet. But they use a high-profile shooting like this to push their fucking agenda. So it doesn't matter that more people get killed with these other objects because they get killed over a longer amount of time. So it only matters if you get killed in a quick succession. Tara Smith, what's happening, chick? Yeah, see, that's Tara. That's one thing I'm asking. Well, a couple of things. Was this person somehow interacted with inappropriately during their time at this school, which caused their transition? And then does this school kind of have restrictions on teaching about that stuff? So this person decided that they just wanted to go shoot the motherfuckers. So I'm interested. They say this person left a manifesto, as they call it. So I'd be interested to see said manifesto. Let me listen to some more of this. You be careful out on those roads, Tara.
We know as Audrey Hale. She's a 28-year-old Nashvilleian. We have belief, or we feel that very strongly that she went to school here in the Nashville area, and she went to that actual school. And so there's some belief that there was some resentment for having to go to that school. Don't have all the details of that just yet, and that's why this incident occurred.
Now let's see. White Hill Covenant. 14 minutes after the 911 call. Suspect had maps of school, shot through door to get in. It's fucking Christ, man. So it was talked about after Columbine. It was talked about after Sandy Hook that the first floors of schools needed to be hardened. They needed to have bullet-resistant glass, all that kind of shit. So this is the answer to one question I was asking is how did the person get into the school? Well, they just shot through the glass. Which if there was a mass shooting or a shooter on my campus and I locked my building down, that's exactly how they could fucking walk right into my building. Suspect Monday's deadly school shooting, Audrey Hale. Attended the school. Confirmation, 2 semi-automatic AR-15 style rifles, as well as a handgun. At least 3 guns had been purchased lawfully, Drake said. Hold on, let's listen to this.
We've identified the shooter as Audrey Hale, a 28-year-old female that lived in the Nashville area. We have investigations ongoing now at the residence on Brightwood Avenue. And we have made contact with the father that lived at that residence and are putting together more information. We've also determined there were maps drawn of the school in detail of surveillance, entry points, etc. We know and believe that entry was gained through shooting through one of the doors is how they actually got into the school.
You're silly. You're that.
I want to take the time to at least say, and I won't say the victims' names, I'll let Don say that, but out of the 6 victims, 3 adults, 3 of those were children. 2 of them were age 9. 1 was 8, about to be 9. All the families have been contacted. The victims' families have been contacted as well. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family. When we send our kids to school or to any place of safety, we expect them to live, learn, have fun, and come back from that day's experience. We don't anticipate things like this.
Shooter attacked an elementary school in this country again, this time in Nashville. We are just learning the names and the ages.
So this shooter bought 3 guns legally. So they passed FFL background checks, which a lot of mass shooters do. So no background check law, extra background check would have stopped it. No safe storage law would have stopped it. Obviously, they didn't give a damn about any carry law because they just loaded up and went. They haven't said anything about magazines, but when you're carrying 2 ARs and a pistol, magazine size don't matter. Obviously, laws against murder don't matter. So the only thing that could possibly stop at least part of that would be your assault weapon ban. But if it was an assault weapon ban, they just would have used pistols. They had a pistol on them. When a person decides they are going to go out and commit murder like this, mass murder, do you honestly think they give a goddamn rat's ass about a law about magazine size or what type of firearm they can go out and commit murder with? So again, I'm sitting there picking up my daughter, watching children run to their buses and have a good time, and this comes up. So I'm watching this while I'm picking my daughter up, my 6-year-old. If you don't think that affects me, you're an idiot. If you think we should go around banning guns because children got killed, you're an idiot. Because if you banned every gun in the United States, the only people that would actually probably give their guns up would be people who try to be law-abiding. And those who are going to do acts like this are going to do them anyway. But if you could snap your fingers and knock every gun out of the United States, poof, gone. Then you end up with a situation where it's not, children getting shot at school. It's entire generations getting loaded onto train cars or starved to death. If you don't believe our illustrious government would do that, I submit to you the Tuskegee experiments. I submit to you our government putting out poison liquor during Prohibition because, hey, fuck those people who want to drink. And all the other dirty shit our government has done. any government, any power in history that has ever had the power to become tyrannical, in other words, those below them don't have the means to fight back, they have always become tyrannical. And you folks running around talking about, oh, my democracy, oh, my democracy. Democracy is mob rule. If I get 51% of the vote, I get to decide what happens. See, in a republic, it doesn't matter whether you get 98% of the vote. You still don't get to take my shit or my rights. So when all these Democrats are running around talking about democracy, oh, it's a threat to our democracy. Well, yeah, it is a threat to your democracy. So we don't want the mob rule. And you little jokers running around trying to say, oh, democracy is so great. You may not be the first ones loaded onto the train cars, going to the chambers, but you ain't going to be, excluded from that little adventure. Let me look. Let's see what else we can look at on this, because
those victims, including the shooter. A total of 7 persons were killed as a result of this morning's incident at the school. By 10:27, the shooter was deceased. The officers had engaged the shooter by 10:27 and
say the shooter is also dead.
He went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the second level, they saw a individual from that 500 and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots. We now know that there are 3 students who were fatally wounded, as well as 3 adults inside the school. We are working to identify those victims, including the shooter. A total of 7 persons were killed.
You look on that screen on the right, the little kids walking away from that. This is a failure of government. But here we are with people who want to give more power to this government. They think this government is going to protect you. They've known for decades what to do to standard entry points into buildings, and they have not done it in a lot of cases. If you think government is going to protect you, let me make myself real big here. The government agents are there to draw chalk outlines around your body and then figure out what happened. They are not there to protect you. As a matter of fact, there is Supreme Court precedent where an officer could literally stand there and watch your ass get murdered, and nothing's going to happen to them. If you don't believe me on that, I submit to you the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, where there were hundreds of officers there while children got murdered. Watching the videos, there was basically one officer that was ready to go in there and get down. But as I understand it, that classroom had an outside window. Anybody who's played fucking Call of Duty could come up with the tactics to shoot someone through a fucking window. No, the sexual orientation, whatever the fuck you want to call it on this person, their pronouns, any of that, don't matter at all whatsoever. What does matter is apparently this person had some serious mental issues. And they decided to inflict that on someone else. Here's another interesting thought, and this just hits. So we've had like the hearing, was it last Thursday? About, well, part of it was about the government going after parents that disagreed with school boards. But you have this big push where the left is trying to say that people on the right, Christian people, are trying to basically erase transgenders and all this shit. So was it part of this person's motivation that maybe that school wasn't teaching transgender ideology and they decided that fuck them, I'm transgender, I'm in pain, and I get to go shoot them because they wronged me because they're not teaching this stuff. That's why I said I'd like to see their manifesto. I'd very much like to see that get published because I would like to read about what caused this. Joe Morris, what's up, brother man? And Key, I can never pronounce your name right. I'm just going to call you Key. I think it's like I normally do. What's up, brother? I know you've been in for a little bit, but let's listen a little more of this. And I'm going to see whether I can find anything updated.
As a result of this morning's incident at the school. By 10:27, the shooter was deceased. The officers had engaged the shooter by 10:27, and she was deceased. Again, I said the first call came in at 10:13 this morning. We'll have more details to give you later in the morning. Chief Drake will be here in a bit. Now, Kendra Loney.
Hold on. Let's see this one.
The must-have tool for every DIY enthusiast.
Karen, the shooter, was 28 years old and a former student at Covenant School, a small Presbyterian church elementary school in Nashville. Audrey Hale, now identified by police as the person who shot through a locked door to get into the school about 10:30 this morning. A 5-officer team went straight to the gunfire on the second floor here at Covenant School and killed the intruder, who was armed with an AR-style rifle, an assault-style pistol, and a handgun. At least 2 of them legally obtained, according to authorities. Even though it appears to have been a rapid police response, 3 adults and 3 children were killed before officers could end the incident. The children, a pair of 9-year-olds and 1 child turning 9, and among the adults, a janitor, a substitute teacher, and the head of the school, 60-year-old Catherine Kuntz. Police say they found a horrific crime scene.
We know and believe that entry was gained through shooting through one of the doors, is how they actually got into the school.
But as today's shooting in Nashville, Tennessee demonstrates, there is more work to be done. For the fact that this is a daily occurrence.
Again, you guys will send billions to Ukraine, but our schools basically have tissue paper for windows. And that's just perfectly fine with you assholes.
In America is unconscionable.
In Washington, this latest school mass shooting reverberating to the Senate floor. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin.
We need to pass more reform to keep guns out of dangerous hands and to keep our children safe.
With the shooter, 28-year-old Audrey Hale, dead, tonight investigators converge on the home where the graphic artist lived. They have found evidence that the attacker cased the school and had maps of the layout. A planned attack, they say, was executed.
Well, if they went to the school when they were a kid, obviously there's a possibility they could remember the layout of the school.
At about 10:30 this morning.
Let us love each other and support each other and hug each other and pray for each other.
Investigators tonight going through the shooter's digital footprint, including a now removed Facebook post in which Hale wrote of binging on video games. Hale's mother telling ABC she lost her daughter today, saying it's very, very difficult right now, asking for privacy, then hanging up the phone. A neighbor telling ABC News Hale lived at the family.
Yeah, no one wants to talk about the fact that their child committed such a freaking mind-boggling, it sounds funny, heinous attack. I can't fit it into my fucking head.
Family's home and was, quote, very religious. Robbie?
Watch breaking news.
So again, stepping out on a limb, this person had issues with maybe religion not recognizing transgenderisms.
Good evening and welcome to the News Hour. As we come on the air, we're tracking developments in two major stories. Americans witnessing the horror of another mass shooting, a deadly assault on a school, and Israelis witnessing a day unlike any before it, an upheaval that paralyzed the country.
First, to the attack in Tennessee's capital city that left the shooter and 6 people dead, including 3 children at a church-run school. The police chief said he was moved to tears by the tragedy. Stephanie Sy begins our...
I ain't even gonna lie. If I was on the grounds of something like that, I don't think I could handle that shit without just breaking down into fucking tears. It was really hard for me to even see this today while I'm sitting there picking up my child.
This morning rushed to respond to reports of an active school shooter, this time at the Covenant School, a private Christian elementary school of about 200 students. Tennessee police initially said a female suspect entered the school and killed 3 children and 3 staff members before being shot and killed by responding officers. The children were identified as Evelyn Dickhouse, Hallie Scruggs, and William Kinney. And the adult victims, all in their 60s, were named Cynthia Peak, Catherine Kuntz, and Mike Hill. The shooter was later identified as Audrey Hale, transgender, 28 years old, and a former student at the school. Don Aaron with the Nashville Police Department described the weapons used.
We know that she was armed with at least 2 assault-type rifles and a handgun.
I'm gonna have
She
to do
entered the
some
school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor firing multiple shots.
Nashville police say it took less than 15 minutes from the first emergency call to when police officers stopped the shooter. Nashville Police Chief John Drake described the goal of their response.
I hope that we would never
This
have
had
this
to be
situation.
today.
That if we ever did, we would not wait. We would immediately go in and we would immediately engage the person perpetrating this horrible crime.
Shortly after the shooting, first responders escorted the surviving students from the Covenant School to buses where they were reunited with their families who were gathered at a nearby church. Today at the White House, President Biden called for more action.
We have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prison.
So they aren't turned into prisons. No, we can control entry and exits without it looking like a prison. Or did I not share that last tab? Fuck it. I'm trying to keep up with everything. But again, I submit to the class that it's not a matter of these mass shootings tearing at the soul of America. It's the fact that the soul of America has been torn apart and is basically the springboard or the cause for mass shootings. We've raised generations of people where we told them it was all about them, all about their feelings. No one else can understand you. We've taken away consequences to actions. We've made fame, this personal fame, yeah. How about we stop celebrating mental issues? Let me look. Hold on. Which tab was I going to bring up? I'm fucking forgetting here.
Daddy.
What, baby girl?
Do I have school tomorrow?
Yes, baby. You have school tomorrow.
Can you pick me up from school tomorrow?
Yes, baby. I'm going to pick you up from school tomorrow.
Are we gonna go to the gun shop?
We might go into town to Gray Nance tomorrow when I pick you up. It depends on what's going on.
I want to see Granddad now.
So,
Hello.
would you move your big head?
I don't have a big head.
No, you don't have a big head.
Bruh.
Why is it not showing the tab that I'm trying to show? Oh, no, I know what I did. I'm an idiot.
What? You're not.
No, Daddy just messed up. So this is about, and Mom, you need to go. You don't need to hear this, okay? Go. This isn't monkey stuff. Give me hugs.
It's okay if you can say it in front of me. It's okay if you can
No,
say
this is about some topics you don't need to hear about, okay? Go.
What is an ESEX?
No, baby, it's not about that. And how do you even know about that?
Remember when I used to sneak watch?
Go. My child. My little girl. So, how many mass shooters have been female? And honestly, like I said a little while ago, this number is kind of screwed because they don't account for like women that are running with gangs and doing mass shootings. But since 1982, only 6 were carried out by women, according to data. Let's see what they mention here, though. And I don't know why that's playing there. That can go away. Mass shooting. 26 killed 3 people. 44 shot 6 people. Shooter killed 3 adults in Nashville, March 27th, identified as woman. Oh, this was a double team. Chef, where fuck yeah. You spell or pronounce that first name. They carried out shootings with male partners. Graham 50 percentage. See, they don't mention Pulse. No, it wasn't Pulse. It was another shooting in Texas that was a husband and wife team. They don't mention that.
At 10:13 this morning, the police department received a call of an active shooter inside Covenant School, Covenant Presbyterian Church. The police department
Yeah, it is low, brother.
was swift. Officers entered the first story of the school, began clearing it. They heard shots coming from the second level. They immediately went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers. There was a 5-member team who was on the second floor at that time. 2 individuals from that 5-member team opened fire on the shooter. We know at this point that this shooter is a female. She appears to be in her teens, although her identification has not been confirmed at this juncture. We know that she was armed with at least 2 assault-type rifles and a handgun. We are efforting now to identify her. She entered the school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots. We now know that there are 3 students who were fatally wounded, as well as 3 adults inside the school. We are working to identify those victims, including the shooter. A total of 7 persons were killed as a result of this morning's incident at the school.
Let's see, it fucking drives me crazy counting the shooter in. The number of deaths. Now, here's another thing that some people don't talk about, and I'll have to find a couple of the stories. One of them was a pregnant woman. Her husband was getting attacked by like 3 or 4 guys. She grabbed an AR, pregnant woman, zap, zap, zap. She zaps a couple guys. Even though that was a defensive shooting, that gets counted as a mass shooting. Hold on, because where was it at?
The trial of the co-founder of the Presidente supermarket is nearing its end.
Oh, shut up. That's not what I wanted to hear. It was in somewhere. First mass killing woman. Here it is. Of the 141 mass shootings since 1982. 141 shootings since 1982. Now, see, how do you have the Tostitos chips? Kids, man, I'm telling you. But see, Democrats say that there are like 100 and something shootings per year. This is saying that there have been 141 mass killings since 1982. That alone should tell you they're playing with the numbers. But people who don't look into this don't see this kind of stuff. Whoa. I'm still messing around with my son while I'm playing here. So let's see, this was earlier, but we'll go with Pierre for a second.
By big oil companies. And with that, Amr, thank you for your patience.
Of course. On Nashville, you pointed to last year's bipartisan reforms, as well as alluded to the executive actions, I think, of just a few weeks ago. And then you also pointed it's not a panacea, but is there any disappointment from the administration that these efforts haven't had more of effect on lessening the scourge of terrible violence?
Well, I don't have the data in front of me on what the president's executive action has been able to do. Clearly, those are actions that are that he was able to do on the federal level. But the president has been very clear. We need to take more action. We actually need to ban assault weapons. We need to take more action so that our children are safe in schools, so that our communities are not torn apart. And we've been very clear about that. The president's going to continue to be consistent. He mentioned that at the State of the Union when he had an opportunity to just not speak in front of Congress, but also speak in front of the American people. We have to do more. The president has done almost as much as he can from the federal level to show how important this is to him. And this is something that he has been working on since he was senator, right? 30 years ago, when the first assault ban weapons passed, it was because of the work partially of then Senator Biden. So again, he's going to continue to call on Congress to act. This is, you know, we can't
frag out designs. What's happening, brother?
Karine Jean-Pierre there at the White House podium saying we can't keep seeing what we saw today. That reporter asking whether or not the White House is disappointed after several federal actions, including bipartisan legislation on Capitol Hill, that would have hopefully addressed or at least stemmed some of these mass shootings.
What would they have done? Honestly, what would they have done? The person could have used a pistol to do everything that they did. Hey, let me have some more chips. They could have used a pistol to do everything they did. They had a pistol on them. And let's face it, in a school, that's all pistol distances. They passed background checks to buy their firearms. I'm wondering if the parents didn't notice something was wrong before all this happened. Chips was lying, man. These things are great. But what? Again, safe storage. That wouldn't stop this. Background checks, that wouldn't stop this. I will argue that AR bans and assault weapons bans wouldn't stop this. They just would use handguns. So the only thing left is the very thing that could be done that wouldn't strip people of their rights, which is hardening the schools so that someone just can't shoot out a fucking window and walk into the school and go kill a bunch of kids. Hold on, Fry Guy. What do you got? Oh, dude, sorry, man. I mean that, man. I'm sorry. That shit's rough, brother. I'll tell a story that I've never told on stream before. After I finish my chip. Matter of fact, I might grab another beer before I do it.
Dad, can I have a grilled cheese?
Huh?
Can I have a grilled cheese? Can you grill me a cheese? Grill me a
You
grilled
can
cheese.
eat the rest of your spaghetti stuff.
I want to have a grilled cheese.
I'm not doing grilled cheeses right now. I fixed you dinner.
M-O-O.
See what I got to deal with? This, and that, that right there.
I am cow.
And I love them dearly.
I am cow today. I am cow.
And again, the safety of these and the ownership of those is not a binary choice.
My dad would destroy the cops if they would come. If they would come to fix me.
It isn't. What are you doing? It isn't a binary choice between firearms and children. It never has been. Hey, you're slipping and you're all over my headphone cord.
I need to fix my moo.
All right, you guys go.
I am moo.
Go.
Moo.
Go watch shows. Go. Those are mine. Give me a sec. I'll tell you guys a true story that I've never told on stream before. You guys go. You put that back. Go. I'll tell you what, a little bit. We'll do hot dogs, and that's it. Not right now. Okay, I'm back. So here's a story I've never told on stream.
But Dad, we never had
out.
for dinner.
Go out. So a lot of you guys have heard me talk about the fact that I went to prison. I spent 11 months in prison. I had 30-day. Oh, I actually got out. I applied for early release, got out early, 30 days. But a couple of years before I got in trouble and went to prison, I decided I want a dog. And look, found an ad for a female shepherd. I think she was 4 months old, 4 or 6. Soldier on Fort Benning. Ad said they couldn't do anything with her. She was just wild. So I went and got the dog. Went and met people, played with the dog in the front yard for a little bit, and was like, yeah, I'll take her. What I found out about this dog is training her. If you tried it with food, she'd pay more attention to food than she would to you. She wanted attention. I taught that dog how to heel, walk around my left side, come to my right side, sit down and hug against my hip and heel in less than 15 minutes on a lunch break. That dog slept with me. She basically went everywhere I went. Now, if I left her alone and I went and did something without her, she would typically find something of mine, like my cowboy boots. She wouldn't destroy them. She'd leave teeth marks in the upper part of the boot to let me know she pissed me off, or I pissed her off. Or if I really pissed her off, she would walk into the dining room, squat right in front of me, and take shit. And I just had to sit there and take that one because I knew I hurt her feelings. This is a dog. I literally woke up using her for a pillow. She snaked her way underneath my head and using her for a pillow. I could be out washing my truck. Now, this dog, she topped out at like 45 pounds. She was a very small shepherd, a complete buzzsaw. I could be out washing my truck, and she loved diving at the water and biting at the water. And people would walk through the neighborhood. Fine. If someone came up on me, blindsiding me, she would immediately get in between me and them without training. That was just her instinct. Wasn't gun shy at all. I could. The funny thing with her is if I went out squirrel hunting or something and took her with me, if I shot and nothing fell out of a tree, she'd just look at the tree and look back at me like, really, dude, you missed? So many good stories with that dog. Love that dog. When I got locked up, I left her with my mom because she loved my mom. She honestly did. But when I left her there and I wasn't able to see her, she quit eating, dropped weight, and died. Nothing wrong with her physically, just I was gone. Getting that news while you're locked up is a crushing event. And you just got to suck that one up, Buttercup, because can't nobody in prison see your ass fucking cry. That's why people talk about their dogs, stuff happening with them. I understand it completely because there are some dogs that are just They're more a part of you than they are anything. Not just family, but a part of you. Libby was that way. And in fact, I started dating this chick. I had a 93 Ford at the time. Big bench seat in the front. And she went to get in the truck with me and my dog. And my dog, who rode right next to me, she wanted to sit next to me. And when she went to move my dog growled at her. She told me, "You need to move your dog." I said, "You two can figure that shit out." In other words, when she lets you sit next to me, I know you're okay. May not be the one, but I know you're okay. Fucking great dog. And I doubt I will ever own, or fuck, I really didn't own that damn dog. That I will have another dog like that in my life. She was that great. So yeah, frag out, dude. I understand, man. When you got stuff going on with an animal like that, that shit's rough. So hopefully everything comes out all right with her brother. Hopefully she's back in the swing of things. What are you doing? My son has one of my daughter's old dresses on, and he's doing ballerinas. And for those of you leftists in the chat, no, I'm not going to get him gender reaffirming care because he's still a fucking boy. Okay, he's back in the room. I can't say that now. Are you thirsty?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, you have to wait a second. Daddy, get you something to drink. Let Daddy find another video for everybody to watch, and then I'll find you something to drink. Okay? Okay?
Which one do I want?
Huh?
Which one do I want?
Which one do you want?
Sprite.
Sprite. I don't think we got any more Sprite, buddy. I'll tell you something. That dog freaking, I took her out. I was over on a buddy of mine. Me and a buddy went over his place. He had like 40 acres, not too far from us. And again, like I said, Libby's small dog, 40, 45 pounds, maybe 50. And we went to roll back to his place, and he said, "Damn," he said, "my brother's got that American Bulldog." He said, "It's not going to like her." I said, "Okay." So I got 10 on mine. And Dale looked at me and went, "What the fuck you mean?" I said, "Wait." But I was throwing a ball for her. And this other dog kept coming over, and dog would cut her off and just growl in her ear and all kinds of shit. She'd still bring the ball back to me. Well, the last time, that dog threw a leg over her back and growled in her ear. And as soon as her ears dropped back and she dropped that tennis ball, she had that dog by the throat on the ground like a fucking buzzsaw. I had to go pull her off this dog, put her in the truck, because anytime that dog came around, she was ready to nail that dog again. That dog officially pushed the button on the ass whipping machine. What do you got, Warsaw? Hold on, let me switch over and I'll pull that link. The son's over there mocking me. All right, give me a sec and we'll well, but easy. Hold on, killer. I'll tell you what, let me let this other news story play for a little bit, and I'll take care of the kiddos, and then I'll be back. Let's see. Hold on, Bubba. You're killing me. Killing me, kid. You're killing me.
H&R Block has 60,000 tax pros nationwide with an average 10 years experience. Ready
from in and around some of Israel's major cities tonight on continuing
Give it a
with,
second. Let's see what
their
they get back to.
demonstrations, their opposition to politically
The
what
shooter.
is happening there in the Israeli parliament.
Come on.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did speak about this today, saying that he will put on pause for now these several reforms that are being considered. They're about to be passed for Israel's judiciary system there. In the meantime, earlier today, I spoke with Fox News foreign affairs correspondent Trey Yingst. He's in Israel, and all throughout the weekend, he was in the middle of these protests, talking to those Israelis as to why they are so angry. Here's our conversation. And political turmoil and dysfunction continues in Israel all around the country, as now those judicial reforms are at least on pause for the time being. Joining us now live from Israel, Fox News foreign affairs correspondent Trey Yingst with the latest. Trey, good to see you. You've been in the middle of all of this all weekend. What are your impressions?
What are your impressions? I don't care. Let's see whether we can find something a little bit new. Let's go last hour again. AP. "32 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 14 minutes ago." Let's look at this one.
We also are learning more. Metro Nashville Police putting out this most recent tweet with a photo of the shooter's car. I want to put this up here. Okay, Metro Nashville
I wonder
PD
if there's a code
posting
this
this
bumper
photo saying
sticker on that
active
car.
shooter Audrey Elizabeth Hale, 28,
Hey,
drove
you
this
guys be
Honda
careful
Fit
and don't spill your
to
drink.
Covenant
Okay?
Church School campus this morning and parked. MNPD detectives there
You want some lemonade,
sharing
Goober?
this photo. Let's take that full here.
But that never happened.
And so they're still in the parking lot. Remember,
It's been a while
Hale
since we've had grilled cheeses for
was a
dinner.
former student. Allegedly, that's what police are saying.
We'll see
Obviously,
in a minute.
28 years old. That would have been some time ago. This is just a grade school. Also, detectives in the tweet saying they searched it and found additional material written by Hale. Now, remember, John Drake, the police chief, said there's manifestos, there's writings. They believe this was a targeted attack.
I mean, you look at a building like that, it's all stone on the outside. You're trying to tell me you couldn't have had doors and windows reinforced, and that's all steel frame. Man, come on,
And
with
then
this shit.
this tweet here: Hale entered the Covenant building after shooting out the glass of these doors there. We'll take that full. So we will stay on top of this story. We're going to take a quick commercial break, very quick 30 minutes here, getting you up to speed on this
What's
major,
up?
major breaking story today.
Oh, man.
I'm Don Aaron with the Nashville Police Department. I'm going to give you a law enforcement overview of what's happened this morning. With me is Kendra Loney from the Nashville Fire Department, who will talk about the fire department's actions in regard to this morning's call. This is going to be a brief update as to what has occurred. There will be more from this spot later in the morning with Chief John Drake and others. At 10:13 this morning, the police department received a call of an active shooter inside Covenant School, Covenant Presbyterian Church. The police department response was swift. Officers entered the first story of the school, began clearing it. They heard shots coming from the second level. They immediately went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers. There was a 5-member team who was on the second floor at that time. 2 individuals from that 5-member team opened.
So 2 of the 5 members opened fire on her, killed her. Let's look at this.
Leaving scenes of heartache for the victims and thankfulness by the survivors. 14 minutes of terror for 200 students and dozens of Covenant teachers and school administrators. Police just now identifying the shooter as Audrey Elizabeth Hale, a 28-year-old from Nashville and a former student. Nashville Metro Police on the scene quickly, rushing the shooter on the second floor of the school. But with two
And guys, I was going to try. I thought Legally Armed America was supposed to come back on. So if he comes back on, I'm going to ditch pretty quick. But I'm going to let this run for a little bit.
AR-style weapons and a handgun, there was already damage done. 3 adults, 2 9-year-olds, and 1 about to turn 9 had been shot dead. As the police work was underway, so too was the prayer work at this Christian
Eagle Run's coming on.
Invaded by hail in a targeted attack, according to investigators. As school families and a city there mourn, authorities right now at the shooter's residence in Nashville.
What the
They
hell?
found maps and surveillance evidence. The result playing out today at 10:30 a.m.
Hootie-hoo.
We know and believe that entry was
Black
gained through
security
shooting
guy.
through one of the doors. Is how they actually.
Yeah, I'm not seeing an alert for Eagle
into the
Run.
school.
Freaking
I am
YouTube.
overwhelmed.
Oop, damn, I forgot I was on that tab. PBS NewsHour. Who's on. I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this one. I got to beat this horse. Eagle Run Cowboy Ballistics in it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna check out Eagle Run, man. I'm gonna do something other than think about freaking failures of government and letting people get murdered. Warsaw, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce, man. I'm going to take care of the kiddos. I got to get them to bed, and then I'm going to jump in with Eagle. But I'll end it like I normally do, man. So I just don't know how to end something like this. But you perps be cool. Keep that thing on you at all times. Put it this way, the first rule of not being an unarmed victim is don't be unarmed. Pretty simple math there. So all of you guys be cool. Like I said, I'm going to run over to Eagle Run. Even though I didn't get an alert, I'll have to look him up real fast. So if you guys aren't following Eagle Run, look up Eagle Run. He's a pretty cool dude. Started following him not too long back. So you guys be cool. I'm out. Much love to all of you guys. You guys be safe, man. Give your children a hug tonight if you got kids. Don't have kids, maybe give your parents a call. Love you guys.